Hi, I'm Kerry with Best of Us. I received an email the other day that I think is pretty common. People look at their situation as they approach retirement and they say, do I have enough to retire on? And that's what a financial advisor is designed to do or instructed to do, is to help you make that decision. And having been a financial advisor, I have a pretty good idea how you go about it. So I put together a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet that kind of answers that question, and I'm going to show it to you here in a second. What the question was, I have $300,000 that we have saved, husband and wife, primary breadwinner, and a sporadic working wife. Do we have enough to retire? So what I did was basically calculate what the Social Security might be, what kind of return on investment you might get off of $300,000. And again, that's based on how you invest it and your risk tolerance and where you're comfortable. And then what are your annual expenses? And I did some research, and there have been some governmental studies that put a handle on what it costs to live. And all of these assumptions are based upon those costs of living, and as well as that you're out of debt. If you got $300,000 in retirement assets, you're probably out of debt. So what they look at is your home. And with your home, you're going to have maintenance, you're going to have utilities, you're going to have property tax and insurance. And they estimate that to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,200 a month. You're going to have an auto. Even if it's paid off, you're going to have to put fuel in it. You're going to have to maintain it. Actually, they estimate a $700 a month. That would tell me you've got an auto payment as well. Food, they give you a price of about $525 a month. For a retired couple, that's probably pretty accurate. Entertainment, $200 a month. That's not eating out a lot, but that is paying for your cable and your movie streaming, and maybe going out to a restaurant once in a while, not often, and then also then for health care. And they're giving a figure that the average retiree spends $550 a month on health care. And I think that's probably pretty close. So what I did was I created a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet, that I could plug these numbers into and come back and say, okay, if that's my income, and what I said, I had two different scenarios. One where you got a 4% return on your $300,000. That would be basically a bond portfolio and possibly some dividend stocks. That's not a very good rate of return. And then I did it in another category and said an 8% return. That would be the S&P 500, and you're investing in some growth. You probably need to hold some cash on the side because the market is volatile at times, but again, an 8% return. And then on that scenario, I also threw in a part-time job. I honestly believe that anybody who retires needs to be involved in some way, such as this is my part-time job. And so in that scenario, I added another $1,000 a month. So what I want to do then is show you this spreadsheet and how it works, and then I'm going to do something a little different, and that is say not 300,000, but what if it's 200,000, and what if it's 100,000? What is the scenario if we stay with these expenses? And I need to again emphasize this is based on the fact that you're out of debt. You do not have a mortgage. Now, that may be achieved in a number of ways. You may live in a larger house and you may sell it and downsize, and then take the proceeds, the gains that you made off of your house, and buy a smaller home, probably on one floor living, and then be out of debt. So either way, that's kind of the way this is going to work, and I'm going to show you. And again, if you don't know how to use an Excel spreadsheet, it's a wonderful tool, and you can ask Google questions as to how do I do this and that, what, because the calculation I'll show you is what is called a future value calculation, and you just got to plug numbers in, and it does all the work for you. So let's take a look at the spreadsheet. Okay, this is the Excel spreadsheet I was talking to you about, and let me give you kind of an overview of how it works. Here I plugged in the $300,000. This is the retirement savings, and that's what we base everything on. I've estimated your Social Security between you and your spouse to be $3,000 a month. That's a pretty conservative estimate. Then I said on this side of it that you're going to get a 4% return. Over here you can see I put an 8% return. And then the other variable that I put in was that you had a part-time income of $1,000. But then I kept the expenses the same. As I said, your home is $1,200 a month. That's your utilities, your maintenance, your upkeep of your home, your property taxes, and your insurance. On your auto, $700 a month. As I said, that looks like, these are government numbers, that looks like a car payment. You aren't going to spend $700 on gas and maintenance and insurance. I don't believe, not a month. Food, $525. If you're feeding just 2 people, and as long as you're not eating Kobe steak and lobster and having surf and turf every other night, that's probably going to take care of your food. And entertainment, as I said, this is not lavish entertainment. This is maybe going to a movie or something, maybe dining out once a week. Not too heavy, not too good of dining. And then your health care, I think that's pretty accurate. That's $550 when you put in your health insurance. And what I'm counting there, if you're retired, part of your Social Security goes to take care of your Medicare and then any supplement programs that you might have. So that comes up with a expense of $38,100 up against a income of $48,000. So you can see you've got about $10,000 of overage. And what I have said is you then take that $10,000 and you invest it on top of the $300,000 you have for the next 10 years. That'll take you to 75. Why I stopped at 75 is these expenses start coming down as you get older. You don't eat out as much. You don't use as much as an entertainment. You don't buy a new car. And so these expenses come down. You've probably downsized your home as well. But what I've done then is said, if I do add $10,000 a year to my $300,000, I'm going to have $563,000 at the end of that 10 years in my retirement savings. I then go over here and do the same scenario, but again, I've got an 8% return, so rather than make $12,000 a year overage, I've got 24, and now my money grows to almost $1 million after 10 years. Then the next thing I wanted to do was say, okay, what if I don't have 300,000? What if I only have 100,000? What do these numbers work out to be? And as you can see, I still have a little bit, about $2,000 of overage. I still invest it at 4%, and over 10 years it compounds, and I end up with $170,000. So I'm better off. But I am living rather frugally, and I have no debt. Over here, if I'm getting 8%, my 100,000, I'm adding almost $8,000 to it a year, and my 100,000 grows to 300,000. Now, when we put in $50,000, something interesting happens. We're actually coming up short by $100 a year, which is no big thing. But because our 50,000 is compounding, and all we are costing us is $100 a year, our funds grow nonetheless, as you see it does here. It's when you get down to, well, Carrie, I've got $20,000. With $20,000, we're actually able to survive. We're overspending our investments by $1,300 a year we're taking out. But still, after 10 years, we have 13,900. As you can see over here, though, we're much better off with $20,000 worth of savings, and we're doing a part-time job, and we're making 8%. We've actually grown our nest egg. So the key is living within your means and having something retired or something saved for retirement and not having debt. So as you can see, $300,000 in a conservative lifestyle, you can do quite well. In fact, you can end up with more than your $300,000. When you get down to $100,000, now it's a little iffy, and you're not going to be going on cruises and elaborate vacations in the future. But I think the question that most people ask is, how much do I need to retire? You can go to a financial advisor. They can plug those numbers in, or you can learn to use an Excel spreadsheet. What I'm trying to figure out is how I can make this Excel spreadsheet available to you with all the formulas stuck in, and all you have to do is change the numbers. I can do that over on my investors platform. Maybe I'll put it up there some way, and I'll get back to you on that. But that's my take on, can you retire on $300,000 of savings? Again, the key part of that is the other side of the equation. How much are you going to spend?